Yes, I did.
And will you describe what you're seeing as you arrive there?
Yes, when I arrived there, I actually arrived near the south end of campus, and that's where I saw multiple police cars as well as multiple officers from various agencies. Then I was asked to respond to our command post, which was in the Fugal building there.
And the Fugal building, we've had some testimony about this, but is that just to the south of the courtyard?
Yes, that is.
And were you there while officers were securing campus?
Yes, I was.
And do you know generally how that was done?
I don't know the specifics, but I do know that officers were canvassing the area, trying to look for a suspect, but also trying to see if anyone else was injured, and then making sure that the scene was secure and that no unauthorized people were allowed in.
And I think you testified earlier. What was your primary assignment?
My primary assignment at the campus, as well as throughout the case, was to oversee the crime scenes as well as the physical evidence.
Before you could do your work on the crime scenes, did the campus have to become secure?
Yes, it did.
And did that involve making sure there was no active shooter on campus?
Yes.
There's no active shooter on campus?
Yes.
And did that involve officers searching buildings and clearing buildings throughout campus?
Yes.
You mentioned that were there multiple areas that were processed by you and other crime scene analysts in this case?
Yes, there was. Would you like me to go over them?
Let me direct you to a few of them. Well, yes, please mention the scenes.
Yes, so one scene was a courtyard area, or I guess what we could also refer to as the amphitheater where the event took place. The other scene would have been the Fulton Library, where there were two bus stops. And then another would have been the wooded area, and then the last one would have been the Lolosi Center building, as well as the ground below.
All right, let's start with the rooftop. What was who was assigned to process the rooftop area?
The team that was assigned to process that was the Utah Bureau of Forensic Services, or also known as our state crime lab.
And generally, what does processing an area involve?
Processing includes documentation, sketching, as well as taking photographs, marking, as well as labeling evidence, and then determining how to package them properly, as well as also just trying to ID anything probative.
On the rooftop was evidence found?
Yes.
What types of evidence were found on the rooftop?
One item of evidence that was found was a screwdriver. Another one would have been what we believe was the shooter's perch. That was determined that was easy to see at night. Using oblique lighting, we could see disturbances in the gravel on the rooftop. And then on the northeast edge, our team also found some swipes on the ledge of that rooftop that was also collected.
Okay, so northeast ledge. And is this the dropping off point?
Yes, it is.
You said swipes. What does that mean, swipes?
Swipes is, I would describe it as kind of hand marks or any type of marks that is left by something that causes some type of disturbance.
Okay. And where on the ledge were those located?
Those were located right on the edge of that right on the edge of that rooftop. And then right below, we also had some other swipes as well as some other impressions. And then below that was a glass window where we also located some latent prints.
Okay. I want to return to what you've referred to as the perch, the sniper position. Were measurements taken from that sniper position to the tent where Charlie Kirk was seated?
Yes.
Do you know the distance?
Yeah, so the distance from the perch area directly to the tent where Mr. Kirk was sitting was approximately 415 feet. If you break it down, so from the perch to the tent, you're looking at is basically like this. And this is the perch, and this is the tent.
And now
As
you're
opposed-
describing, I'm sorry, I have to make a record. You're describing an angle, a slope downward from the perch to the location of the tent. Is that
Yes,
accurate?
I am.
Okay,
Thank
go
you.
ahead.
Yeah, so the angle, so again, the distance, the perch to the tent was approximately 415 feet. If you think about it, or without taking into account the elevation drop, it was actually 410 feet, so just horizontal straight across. And then the elevation difference between that is approximately 68 feet.
Okay, 400 feet, 410 feet from the perch to the tent with a 68-foot vertical drop. Is that
Yes.
right? On the rooftop, were shoe impressions found on the rooftop?
Yes, there was.
Did those who processed that area of the crime scene collect the latent prints and the shoe impressions that you've talked about?
Yes, they did.
And this is a good point to read a stipulation into the record.
All right.
The language of this has been agreed upon by the parties. The parties stipulate that investigators at the crime scene observed latent fingerprints and a palm print on a glass window near the area where the individual landed when the individual jumped from the rooftop of the Low-C Center at UVU. SBI fingerprint examiner Elisa Farmer examined images of these latent fingerprints and the palm print and determined that only 3 of the latent prints, 11B, 11C, and 11D, were of comparable or of poor comparable value. She excluded Tyler Robinson as the source of any of these 3 latent prints. Ms. Farmer reviewed other prints on the window and found that they did not have adequate value for comparison. Subsequent examinations of these 3 latent or actual latent prints by the FBI were inconclusive. That area that was described in that stipulation, is that the area in the glass window that you're talking about?
Yes, that is.
That's on the northeast corner of the Low-C Center.
Yes.
And that's the area where we see in a video an individual drop from the roof.
Yes.
I want to move on to another area, the courtyard. First, will you describe what that area of the crime scene looked like?
Yeah, so when I arrived on scene, you have different steps. I believe there were maybe like 5 or 6 covered in grass. When I was there, there were personal belongings spread throughout. There was a tent towards the west end of that courtyard area, as well as some banners and some barriers as well.
Was that area processed for evidence as well?
Yes, it was.
What was done to process that area?
Photography, as well as just examining the tent area to see if there's anything there.
And who is assigned to process the courtyard area?
The FBI.
I want to take you to another area, a wooded area. Was there a wooded area that was processed as well?
Yes, there was.
Will you describe, first off, where that area is?
Yes, so this area is located northeast of the Low-C Center building, and it is across from